Uh, First of all, I want to thank all of you for being present in this concert. Time is the unique gift that we can give. It's why it's called present. I want to thank to my family that is spreading the worldwide, in Chile, France, Canada, Virginia, and also here in Chicago. I am grateful for the university NEIU because I have completed this master's degree thanks through its staff, such as Sacha Gerritson, Dr. Hitz, Dr. Heitzinger, Paula Vargas. To my thesis committee, Dr. Kowalkowski and Dr. Laughlin. Thank you to my classmates who have been helped me and inspired me in this study journey. I want to thank my girlfriend, Gloria Inez, who has been a sort of inspiration to move forward with this dream. I want to especially thank to Dr. Torosian, who has instructed me in the art of the classical guitar and the pedagogy with his incredible passion with me and dedication. So this thesis also is for you. With this academic path of music, studying classical guitar, I had to face various and several situations that I was not used to. I mean, learning a piece of music by memory, no improvisation at all, and begin staying stage entirely, along with my guitar, and here, ready to play the repertoire. I remember when I was going to play 5-minute piece and only could play 30 seconds. That was here in this same stage. I did not feel able to play the whole piece. I stopped the audition, I took my guitar, and then I left the stage. At that moment, I thought that I had failed, but minutes later, I realized that I had to solve an issue. I understood that it was not a failure, it was an experience that helped me to grow. As Einstein said, if you want to get other results, start doing things differently. That musical event was the turning point or trigger to work on my grad thesis with one goal in mind, to improve my playing and relate better on stage, with the promise that if I get good results, I will share this information with other musicians. That is why my thesis is called Musical Methodology Beyond the Instrument Practice. If I can summarize my thesis in one word, it will be organization. And if you let me add another word, I can add knowledge. The first word I know surrounding to reach is organization. I would like to picture this situation and this concept with this image. This is we can see a car, okay? Probably it's very valuable, cost a much amount of money. Now we can see the same car, but probably costs less, but because it's scratched. But if we look, the car has the same components, the same color, the same brand, the same everything. But what is the difference? The components are different organized. So at this point, a scratched car doesn't work because these parts are scratched and each part is moved differently. So somehow everything, well, they have both have the same color element, the same brand, but with the difference, the second car is scratched. The organization of the components are different. Same feature, different order. Somehow everything is organized. My thesis is organized. This whole stage is organized in the way that I can play in front of you, and we have a back door, and everything is functional. The universe somehow is organized that let us live in this world. The atoms are organized somehow. The music is organized through the time, the pitch, and the rhythm. Also, the contemporary music somehow is organized too. As the first example that I play in my recital is called Les Adios by Fernando Sor. That one was my first piece of classical guitar that I learned few semesters ago. Dr. Torosian taught me that Wesley, that the 6 arpeggio in the right hand. Those arpeggios summarize the mobility and the combination of my right hand. So if I organize that 6 piece and working slowly, I can get every movement possible through the classical guitar. I use the 6 arpeggio during all pieces of music. I practice them separately, one by one, for a set period, and then I use them in the musical composition. Again, the organization of time and knowledge. Now, how practice a complete piece or have it by memory? While studying for the master degree, I realized that if I analyze the piece shape to play it, I can quickly learn the new passage and memorize their structure. For example, the second piece they play has 2 sections. There's the second piece, it's called Sonata. Mainly has 2 sections that help me to organize my studying. I understand which part of passage I can work better. But the last piece that I play, called Chill and Dance, if you can see, has 6 pages. But if I study deeply or in bottom, how many sections is just 5? Probably I can summarize in 2 or 3 pages. So if I understand how work the music score, I can get less work and the days don't get frustrated too. Dr. Hander Eriksson is a Sweden psychologist. Is an expert in subject of extended deliberate practice, which means the high level of concentration on practice is beyond one's comfort zone. The result of the deliberate practice in the document, the role of deliberate practice in the acquisition of the expert performance, affirms that the particular makes perfect and destimate the myth that experts, in particular, have unusual innate talent. Instead, the study showed that by practicing a certain way, experts achieve their maximum performance by breaking down the necessary skill into a small part and repeating this part several times. It's also essential to obtain feedback and reflect on practices performed to implement improvement in the follow practice. So Dr. Eriksson stated that practice is one of the everyday habits in study elements, but emphasize that it's also essential to concentrate on practice time. Some points are crucial to the process of mastering a discipline. Divide a practice plan into a small part and work focus on them. Plan, reflect, and take notes on the practicing. Play each passage slowly. Limit your session to maintain focus. Maximize practice time. Track small intervals of improvement. Emulate the practice, not the performer. Repetition makes perfect. Routine is everything, and also get a coach. Dr. Eriksson states, finally, deliberate practice is an effort activity that can be sustained only for a limited time each day during extended periods without leading to exhaustion. Effort. To maximize gains from long-term practice, individuals must avoid exhaustion and must limit practice to an amount from which they can completely recover on daily or weekly basis. However, it's not about the quantity of time, but rather quality and how to approach the musical study. Not many student musicians take the time to analyze their way of playing and studying. Allocate that time, plan to achieve a goal, set steps to correct mistakes, and make all of these points constantly and permanently. We should, as musicians, be aware that improve in any discipline is advisable to handle a study methodology, in addition to being conscious and efficient distributing the practice time so as not exhaust ourselves during the growing process. The book Piano Playing, with a piano question answered by Jose Hoffman, approach the way the author practices and teaches his piano methodology. It's interesting to know that Hoffman's study technique can be applied not only in the piano but other instruments. The practice should be slow to have a correct note in execution. It should be noted that each person has different abilities of concentration, and it is crucial to know how our concentration works. The student or player can choose the quantity of hours to practice, but its essential skill are attention, concentration, and quality. Hoffman explains that practice without the instrument also helps the development skills such as memory and mental conception of the work. In resume, time and knowledge. In many cases, after extended periods of intensive work, the mind lost the focus and began to wander. Reading is not helpful, and instrument practice begins to be on autopilot. This is a normal exhaustion process in the brain. The information is not integrated, and the mind starts to wander in other topics. Focusing session, tagging, frequent breaks, and specifically schedule the time to achieve the goal can be addressed using the Pomodoro technique and time box. The Italian Francesco Cirillo created the Pomodoro technique during his first years of university in the late 80s. The word Pomodoro came from the Italian word means tomato, referring to the original kitchen timer, with a shape like of tomato. This basic technique proposed creating a word blocking lasting 25 minutes, and between each block, a break of 5 to 10 minutes. The Pomodoro technique benefits come from the word block that encourages doing tasks at set times and frequent breaks, helping keep the mind fresh and increase productivity at work. There are 5 main benefits of the Pomodoro technique that help boost work and take advantage of time. The first one is control and manage the distraction. The Pomodoro technique allows us to take control of practicing time. First of all, avoid the external distraction like the television, radio, smartphone. In this way, we will not have interruption in our practice time. When distractions are internal, such as thought or emotion, writing them down on a paper will help clear the mind and take action after practice time. Number 2, help planning study time. After each practice session, it's beneficial to write down what had been studied to analyze the progress and plan the next step. Improve weekly and monthly planning. Writing down accomplishment will facilitate effective planning for the future. Over time, you can estimate how many study blocks are needed to complete a specific project type. For example, to prepare a concert, musicians can work in 4 blocks, 3 blocks to practice musical phrases, and 1 block to reproduce the entire recital. Number 4, reduce the back pain and mental fatigue. The Pomodoro technique requires users to take regular breaks, which help to change the body's position and stimulate the blood supply to the body. You can walk a few minutes between each study block. Getting up to stretch your legs prevents back and shoulder pain induced by sitting. In the same way, allowing your mind to wander for a few minutes reduces exhaustion during practice time and can help achieve physical and mental well-being. Number 5, stay motivated. Motivation is also a reaction to seeing the positive result and advance that are achieved in each practice session. If the daily study results are recorded, a summary of the achievement can be made at the end of the week. Dr. Erickson point out the importance of prepared day-to-day management. Today, tools have been created to project management applied to the time management in each individual. This is the time box case, which consists of setting a maximum time to achieve a specific task. The ability to manage and distribute the time as follows benefits. Okay. The prioritization of the objective, creativity, the notion of the available time and how much time is necessary to spend on a task, the evaluation of the result. To have a productive time box during the musician study, it should have the following features. Periods not exceeding of 45 minutes, 10 minutes of the rest between each period, practicing slowly and without hesitation, studying with the metronome and record audio-video on the last session to analyze it. With the information collected on the methodology to manage time, I have implemented an instrumental practice scheme to prepare for my degree recital. This plan is carried out for Monday to Sunday and repeats the pattern for 2 weeks. It should be noted that this plan had been used to study the musical work previously. So I create for me, the first block, which is 15 minutes of stretching and warm-up, which is very important, and 3 spots of 10 minutes to practice any specific technique. And then it's optional to add extra 5 minutes to write down a conclusion about the done work. I repeat this concept three times, block 1, block 2, and block 3. And by the end, the block 4 is the full concert emulation. I record a video which I will analyze later. 10 minutes to stretch and warm up, 5 minutes to prepare my mind and body to play, record the full concert emulation, and my recital is estimated about 30 minutes. And by the end, add 5 minutes to analyze what was played and especially plan the next day to know what to practice. In each practice block, at least 3 objectives can be worked on, which will make the session a very productive time for instrumentalists. Concentration and awareness are the key to achieve the study objectives. Thus, you can also take a better advantage of the muscle memory. What determines quality time? How can we make practicing more productive each time? In 2010, Hannah Smeltz, a music teacher, conducted a study with her music student from Winchester School in England. One of the experiments she conducted with the group was brainstorming the action and behavior they believe made them better. These are some of her conclusions after the project. Number 1, very important, have fun. Turn your practice into a game. Number 2, practice with a friend. A friend can help you with a passage, acoustic, or evaluate what you have done. Number 3, sing or hum the melodies, keeping the beat on your palms. This can help us to have a better understanding of the music. To learn more, use professional recording. Set a goal. What do you want to achieve today? Express your emotion. Concentrate in the musical ideas that you want to carry out in the performance. Tell a story with your instrument. If emotions are negatively addressed, the most common and immediate consequence is the loss of the motivation in the student. It is at this point the volitional strategy become necessary. That is, strategies related to act and phenomena for the will construct irrational components for some emotion. The volitive strategies. The word volition comes from the Latin verb vel, that means to want or desire. It should be added that the adjective voluntary descends from the same source. In short, volition means an act of choice. Volition is understood as the process by which a person operates rationality, freely and consciously. In this sense, volition is one of the most fundamental characteristics of humanity, a deliberate effort. A contrast to volition is when there is an immediate and automatic reaction, in short, or a reflex act. Some examples of these strategies regarding the control of negative emotion will be aware of the emotion, breathe slowly and deeply, imagine doing the job successfully and feeling good about it, remember available force and resource, reflect on negative feeling about the experience and on the ways to make it safer. Several investigations conducted by the psychologist Turner Hart revealed that students who use volitional strategy improved their practice process, were more consistent in study tasks, and showed improvement in academic evaluation results. Another concept that we have to be aware is the muscular preparation. The profession of musician is a high-performing job. The pressure, tension, and stress of rehearsal, daily practice, the analysis of musical structure, concert activity, as well as regular hours of meals and sleep, puts the musician to the limit of resistance. Muscle injuries are a consequence of a physical and mental activity. These lesions do not appear at rest, but rather result from the eccentric constriction a little stronger than usual. Muscle injuries are also a consequence when the muscles have not been warmed up properly, and also when explosive work is performed on the muscle already fatigued by excess of movement. Stretching is necessary before carry out intense muscular effort and the long period of time. This consists of the muscle in a smooth and sustained way, so that when they are subject to an effort, they are already prepared for the movement. Stretching helps increase muscle flexibility, minimize tension, blood supply, increase body temperature, and optimize muscle coordination. It's also advisable to stretch once the practice routine is finished in order to the muscle to adapt the state of the rest. Many muscles injuries are caused by repetitive, fast, precise movement and sustained for a long period of time. It's worth mentioning that emotional states also influence the muscle regulation, since they affect the nervous system. Fear, stress, anxiety, and pain can increase tension, while a state of relaxation helps decrease it. To play a wrong note is insignificant. To play without passion is inexcusable. It's a word by Beethoven. I would like to point our brain, right brain and left brain hemisphere. It's possible to achieve a musical presentation with passion and enthusiastic focus on what you are playing. It is possible to live to negative and analytical thoughts off stage when we're playing. The answer is yes. It's essential to know how the brain works to dominate our mind. Science has shown that the human brains comprise two primary regions, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. Both cerebral hemispheres are connected, but there is a differentiation between them. Numbers, word, logic, and analysis are related and processed in the left hemisphere. Instead, sound, images, sensory function, emotion, and creativity are associated with the right hemisphere. It's important to understand that this group of operations to optimize, practice, and perform on an instrument. Taking the brain hemisphere function information into account, we can improve our practice time and performance mood. The left hemisphere may be the most appropriate for effective practice because it's the analytical and logic side. Therefore, if we organize and apply study strategies and in learning on the instrument, our brain will work from the left hemisphere, bringing satisfactory results. On the other hand, the right hemisphere may be the most appropriate for performance because it's related to the artist and feeling side. But the tendency to carry out careless daily practice and performing ourselves with analytical and self-critical thoughts when getting on stage can make our musical journey exhibit hints for frustration. Mastering music is more than learning technical skills. Practicing is about quality, not quantity. Some days I practice for hours. Other days it will be just a few minutes. Practicing is not only playing your instrument, either you by yourself or rehearsing with others. It also includes imagining yourself practicing, but your brain form the same neuronal connection and muscle memory, whether you are imagining the task or actually doing it. This word from Jojo Yoma, an amazing cellist. Often, our eyes are focused only in the result, on waiting to achieve the objective set. And in this, we forget the beauty of the process. Sometimes, for musicians, this process becomes a valley of loneliness and anguish. Self-criticism awakens our self-esteem, believing that we are not good enough to play on a stage, and bad bodily habits can diminish our body's potential. On other occasions, bad time management can germinate frustration in our life and performances. This thesis aims to provide a scientific and empirical knowledge for use during the musician practice time. Non-musical skills such as time management, knowing how our brain works, and understanding how our body works helps and encourages us to improve our musical skills. By applying this information in our practice time, we can obtain positive musical results and mitigate the frustration and body injuries. Music is more than make objects vibrate to create sound waves. Music is an invisible connection with people, but even more so with oneself. Self-knowledge regarding the body, soul, and mind is essential for developing and achieving our maximal potential. It is a mission of pedagogy, the art of teaching, to deliver a comprehensive and stimulating methodology. If we intelligently plan our time, we can get magnificent results through healthy instrumental practice. If we properly manage the time, we can have more benefits in our practice time. By understanding our brain works, we can control our thoughts. Knowing how our first instrument is our body, we can make music that inspires. The knowledge is power. Thank you so much.